Hare Krishna. So most of you might know me. My name is Vasanti Dasi, and I'm the assistant to Srimati Shamrani Didi, Chaturani Devi Dasi. And since tomorrow being Lord Narasimghadev's appearance day, I thought that I would read from her most glorious memoir, The Art of Spiritual Life. Her memories with Srila Prabhupada starting in 1966 when she meets him at 19 years old walking through Tompkins Square Park. There's a section in 1967, just a year after meeting him, called Divine Ferocity, which is when she's painting the Lord Narasimghadeva painting. So, thought I would do a reading of that, and if you're all inspired and don't have this incredible, inspiring, uplifting memoir full of humor and just such amazing moods, so many people reading it saying they're crying and laughing simultaneously throughout their whole read. So the book is available at theartofspirituallife.com, and you can get it there. So page 77, Divine Ferocity. The 12 by 16 poster of Lord Vishnu, encircled by his 10 pastime incarnations, still hung on the wall in the altar room. Prabhupada again took me over to the poster, as he had done in December, when he wanted me to paint a large copy of Vishnu himself. This time he pointed to Lord Narasimghadeva, one of the Lord's 10 pastime incarnations. I already knew something about this incarnation in relation to Prahlad Maharaj, and I was about to learn much more. Prabhupada, quote, Lord Narasimghadeva is the half-man, half-lion incarnation of Krishna, he explained. Narasimghadeva protected Prahlad. Here he has 10 arms, and he is tearing out the intestines of the demon Hiranyakasipu. You can do this painting, yes, but paint only 4 arms. Prahlad should stand by the side of Lord Narasimghadeva praying, just like in this small picture. I looked at the picture, which was just 2 inches high. Prahlad was so tiny that I could barely make him out. Srila Prabhupada said that Prahlad's father was such a demon that when he found out that Prahlad was a devotee, he ordered his servants to kill him. The evil servants threw him off a cliff, into a pit of snakes, into a pot of boiling oil, and under the foot of an elephant. Although they tried in so many ways to kill him, Krishna protected him. Frustrated, his father demanded to know from Prahlad where he got the power to be protected. Prahlad replied that he got his power from God, from the same place that his father got his power, to rule and destroy. His father challenged, "Where is your God? Is he in this pillar?" As our Guru spoke, his eyes opened wider and his eyebrows arched. He quoted Prahlad saying, "Oh yes," because Prahlad was actually seeing Lord Narasimghadeva peeping from the pillar. When the demon then struck the pillar with his sword, the pillar broke open with a great sound, and Lord Narasimghadeva appeared from it. He came to convince Hiranyakasipu that his devotee's statements are always true. Lord Narasimghadeva then killed the demon and gave him liberation. Guru Maharaj described the backstory. Lord Brahma, pleased with the severe austerities of Hiranyakasipu, granted him a benediction that he would not be killed by any animal, man, or demigod, or by any weapon. He would be safe during both day and night, and on land, in the sea, and in the air. Hiranyakasipu became so powerful that even the demigods residing in the heavenly planets, who were responsible for controlling universal functions, became afraid of him. Hiranyakasipu then personally took charge of the universal functions, displacing these demigods. Because of Brahma's benedictions, he considered himself immortal. He never imagined that an animal and human could combine in such a unique form as half man, half lion, and then vanquish him. Lord Brahma's benediction protected the body of Hiranyakasipu from being pierced by any weapon, and therefore Lord Narasimghadeva used only his nails. At dusk, the junction between day and night, the Lord very easily tore the demon into pieces, piercing his abdomen as if it were a blade of grass. He then sat on Hiranyakasipu's throne, with the demon's ravaged body sprawled across his lap and wearing a garland of the demon's intestines. His mouth and mane were sprinkled with blood. You can make a large painting of the killing scene, Prabhupada told me. It was staggering to think of how Krishna displays so many extraordinary forms. When I told Guru Maharaj that the picture on the poster was too small for me to see clearly, he offered to pose for me right then and there. He placed a wooden chair in the middle of the altar room floor and sat down on it. Stretching out his arms, he held his hands face down at a 45-degree angle, shaping them into the claws of a lion. I can almost see the long chisel-like nails of Lord Narasimghadeva protruding from his hands. Holding this position, he recited a prayer. "O my Lord, on your lotus hands you have long nails with which you ripped apart the wasp-like demon Hiranyakasipu." He pulled his arms back, opened his eyes wide, and then crossed them. After a moment, he dropped his arms and resumed his normal posture. Not remembering how painful it was whenever I had tried for even a second to cross my eyes, and because I didn't catch Prabhupada's pose clearly enough the first time, I had the audacity to ask him to do it again, and he did. He then asked Brahmananda and Gargamuni to act out the killing scene. Without hesitation, Gargamuni lay across Brahmananda's lap and was thus torn apart by his big brother. I didn't have a camera to photograph the scene. I just tried to remember it and kept studying the picture in the tiny circle. Once applying the first layer of flat paint and then blending the colors in the second layer, I proceeded to paint in the details, ornaments, and blood. But I didn't want the painting to look ghastly. As I was learning from Prabhupada's books, God is all good and all beautiful. So I figured there was no room for ghastliness. I applied only a few small red splotches of blood on Hiranyakasipu's body and on the body and mane of Lord Narasimghadeva. While I was doing this, Prabhupada came into the altar room and told me, "Paint blood everywhere." But, I stuttered, "If God is not ferocious, then where does ferocity come from?" I painted more splashed blood. That great demon, Hiranyakasipu, had vanquished Indra, the king of heaven, and had occupied his celestial palace. The steps of this palace were constructed of coral, its floors inlaid with emeralds, and its walls formed out of pure crystal. I was at a loss at how to depict such opulence. Raised in New York City, what significant beauty and splendor had I ever seen? I looked around for a beautiful rug to paint underneath the Lord's feet, as the rug in the tiny circular picture was far too unclear to copy. I then remembered the Indian Brijbasi print of Sita, Ram, Lakshman, Hanuman, which depicted a richly embroidered rug and which was hanging on the wall in Prabhupada's room. I walked in quietly so as not to disturb my guru, who was working at his desk translating. The print was on the wall above him to his right. To look at it closely, I would have to step on the long mat that he used both as a sitting place and as a bed. To avoid this, I stood on tiptoes, just off the edge of the mat, straining to see the details on the rug. He looked up and asked, "What are you doing?" It didn't occur to me to simply ask if I could take the print down. Instead, I nervously said, "I'm trying to see the print so I can print a similar rug in my picture of Lord Narasimghadeva, but I didn't want to step on your bed." "In Krishna's service," he said softly, "you can step on my head." His humility was overwhelming. I was awestruck. This was a moment I would not forget. Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Lord Narasimghadeva ki jai, Art of Spiritual Life ki jai, artofspirituallife.com for your copy or your case, 14 in a case, or a pack of 5 if you want to get them discounted for your friends and congregations. Haribol.